Hi creatives, I am Dima and you're welcome to another interesting sewing tutorial. This tutorial is all about the drafting of this beautiful cupped corset dress with a full gather at the lower part and of course a deep sweetheart neckline. You can see mine looking so beautiful. I made mine with Ankara and of course the one I am copying was made with damask fabric. If this sounds like what you're interested in, then you have to stay till the end to see the whole process I took to draft this beautiful dress. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. This pattern making I started this way because I lost the footage of this. So I had to go up from the underbust by 2 inches and then I'll connect to the underbust with my pattern master. So this is 2 inches and I'll connect to the underbust like this. I know it may be confusing for beginners, but please pardon me if you can understand this. What I just did is the basic pattern, of course, the dart intake and the underbust tightening. Okay, so here I had to go in by 1.5 inches and then also connected to my underbust. If you're if you're asking maybe how did I do the basic pattern and all of that, please check the link in the description. I will put it right there so that you will see a tutorial of how to make a basic pattern to virtually the stage that we are in right now. Basic torso and basic bodice block. So right here, I just wanted to know how deep it is from the neckline. I took a level here about 4.5 inches and I'm using that landmark to draw my sweetheart neckline. You can see that the sweetheart neckline is not like the regular sweetheart neckline, right? It's not curving smoothly there like the regular sweetheart neckline. It's almost making a square somewhere around that center front, if you understand what I mean. Okay, so here I'm doing center bust bridge tightening, which is 3/4 inch, and that is what I just did here. I took a point on the over bust and I will take 1/2 inch on both sides of it, then I'll be connecting it like this. If you have any question, drop it in the comments and I will happily and willingly answer your questions. So having done this, the next thing I am going to do is to just go ahead and complete the dart intake for the lower parts. Okay, so every part I am shedding right now are the part that will be going off at the end of this tutorial. Okay, what I did next is just to complete the dart of the yoke. So I took a point on the shoulder line and completed it just as you can see me do in this video. So right here is me trying to explain, maybe if you want 3-cup styling or anyhow you want this cup, this is the stage you're going to draw it. But what I used is 2-cup styling, just as you can see in this video. So I took 6 inches here, ensured the bust to bust is still 3.5 because it's 3.5 inches bust to bust point that I used for my bust to bust, because that is what it is. So right here is the hip measurement divided by 4 and I'm connecting to the waist. Please, I say again, if you're confused of the basic pattern drafting, just check the link in the description box and you will be able to watch a simplified tutorial on basic pattern making. So right here on the knee level, I took 2 inches or 1/3 inches and I connected to the hip line. So I have to note here that the length of this gown, I took 4 inches here from the hemline. So that is what I marked, and I'm going to make a curve to this other side towards the hip, just as you can see me do. Okay, so right here is 36 inches length of this gown. I'm going to go up by 2 inches because I want the maximum length of this gown to be 34 inches, if that makes sense. Okay, so what I did now is to take 2 inches upwards and took a curve, right? So the length of the gown right now is 34 inches because that is what I want. Where I shaded will be going off. So here is the length from the waist, and I'm just writing down what will be remaining. We will come to that when I'm about drafting the lower part, which is the gathered part of this dress. Okay, so having done this, I'm just completing the line just as you can see me do. Beautiful. you can see that we are almost getting done with the whole process of drafting this lovely dress. So what you can see right here is the front, which is complete. I'm going ahead to draft the back pattern. Okay, so I started with the shoulder measurements divided by 2, and of course this is 3.5 by 1 inch. That is what I used as the basic back neckline. I didn't start the front from the beginning because I lost the footage of the beginning part of this video. I couldn't find it. I don't know. Somehow I deleted it. And I'm sorry about that. But I believe with the link in the description, you will understand everything I did. So what I'm doing here is just the half length for the back. And here is the bust measurement divided by 4. That is what I took, and I'll go ahead and mark just like this. So come down by 5 inches, come in by ½ inch, and go ahead and measure the armhole. Please, if you don't know how to measure your armhole, check the link in the description. Everything is contained, everything is there in the basic pattern making tutorial that I did. Okay, so right here I did the back tightening of 1 inch. From there I took the waist measurements plus that intake, and that is what I did right now and drew it to the waistline. So here is the hip measurement. Okay, 8.5 inches from the waistline, and I'm drawing a horizontal line along the hip. Just go ahead and mark the hip, which is hip measurement divided by 4, and I'm connecting it to the waistline just like this. I will also come to the back tightening and connect just like this. So after doing that, I also draw for the upper part of the dress, which is the bodice part. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and complete the lower end. Now I'm trying to take the exact measurements I took for the front so that we'll have a total measurement of about, okay, for the back, the total length of the back will be about 32 inches or 32 1/4 inches. So I came in here by 1 inch at that center back along the knee. Okay, and from there I measured the exact knee measurement for the front and connected it just as you can see me do. That is all I did, and wherever I'm shedding will be going off. You can see we are almost getting done with this pattern drafting, and I hope you're enjoying the tutorial. If you have any question, feel free to ask in the comments. I will respond to all of them. So right here I took a level, exactly the same level I took for the front. That is why I measured the front first, so that I'll be drawing the yoke with it. So right here, I took a level for the yoke. Feel free to take any level you want for your yoke, but I want mine to just take the shape. That is why I took that level that is below what I took along the armhole, if that makes sense. Okay, so right here, I will go ahead and draw up the remaining of my yoke styling, or leave it to when I am ready to cut the yoke. So having done this is what I have for the back, and this is what I have for the front. You can see. So what I have here is still 4 inches upwards from the real level of the front, because I want that center front to come high. So that is what I just illustrated along that hem. Nothing serious, trust me. So right here I'm cutting out the pattern, and after cutting it out, I'll go ahead and cut it on fabric. I used Mikado silk and Ankara to do this dress. So I'll write there that I, went up by 4 inches. That is what I'm writing here. 4 inches up, yes, because that is what it is. So I'll go ahead and cut out the remaining part of this pattern, and then I'll alter anything further as I progress in cutting this on fabric. So I had to come in there by 1/4 and 1 inch. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect with my pattern master and cut it out, because I don't want the yoke to be right on the neck. But if you want your yoke to be right on your neck, or maybe if you want to add a turtleneck to your neckline, don't do this, because if you do this, it will make the turtleneck to be away from the neckline. Okay, you use a basic neckline to attach a turtleneck. So this one is just a regular neck, and I don't want it to be right on my neckline. That's why I took away this amount from the neckline. So right here, I'm cutting out the cup area. You can see what I'm doing. Aside what I am saying, watch closely and you'll understand everything I am doing in this tutorial. So here I'm drawing the side bust darts because I just realized I've not inserted it in this pattern. So I took a side bust dart of 1/3/4 inch. Feel free to use the side bust dart based on your measurement or your client's measurement, because it varies. So having done this, I cut the open. Just watch what I'm doing, and that is exactly how to go about this. So I had to cut this open and close it up, and that is why I opened up the side bust dart area so that I can close up the bust bridge, or better still, you can close the side bust dart while the bust bridge opens, whichever way. So that is what I have here, and I'm taping it down. Now that I've taped it down, you can see that the line has moved. So all I did here was to through the line. That is what it is called, just to make it uniform. That's all. So right here, I have cut out this, and I'm continuing with the cutting of the rest of the part. So you can see how I closed the bust bridge for the center front, and I'm taping it down with my masking tape. So I'll continue with the cutting, and as I explain to you other things I did in the process. So I closed up the side bust dart completely and, smoothened up the line, which is truing in pattern making. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the cups, just as you can see, and this is what I have. I'll go ahead and cut out every part that I shaded, because I said during this whole pattern making process that the shaded parts will be closed, will be going off. So no shaded parts will remain. So I'll cut up this is the over bust tightening, and this is the under bust tightening. I don't need them. And this is the yoke. Watch closely to see how I'm closing this yoke up. So you can close it completely, or you close it partly, remaining about 1/4 inch. Okay, that 1/4 inch remaining, you will take it out from around the armhole. Okay, so watch closely to see what I'm doing. I took the same amount I left there along the armhole. This is very striking. Okay, and I am going to trim it off. I hope you learned something right now, but you can close it up completely. It depends on what you want. But sometimes I feel like this has a way of making the whole thing balanced. But then, even if you close it up completely, it still comes out nice. But I will advise that you use this process like when the over bust tightening is really big. Okay, but if it's about 3/4, depending on the dress you're making, you can actually not bother, you close it up once. But when it gets to 1/4, 1.5, you will have to divide it just the way I did, so that everything will come out nice and beautiful. So I had to go ahead and remove the other darts on the bust tightening and the darts and all of that. And this is what I have. So this is my Mikado silk fabric, and this is the Ankara I'll be combining with it. So this is the back pattern, and I will go ahead and cut it out as well. Here I had to come in by 1/1/4, just as I did for the front, so that there will be uniformity on the shoulder line. If you don't do this, if you do for the front and you don't do for the back, it will definitely not be the same. So I had to come down on the back by 1/2 inch extra. So this is just a little vent that I left at the back. That is what I made with that dotted line. So when I cut this out, I cut out the shoulder and cut the rest of the parts for the back. Then after doing that, I will also cut the vent. You can see the vent is a very tiny vent. I want the vent to be about 3/4 inch vent, not more than that, or even half inch vent. Yeah, that is because I think I took 1/4 for the vent. So I'll go ahead and cut out every other part of this. I'll cut out the tightening, center back tightening for the skirt part, and this is how lovely the back looks already. So I'm going to separate this into the body and the yoke. So this is what the back is. Of course, I wrote yoke, and the lower part is, of course, the back dress. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all of this, how appropriate, how it should be, and I'll continue with the rest of the tutorial. So this is the Mikado silk. All I'll have to do here is to go ahead and fold it appropriately. You can see how I'm folding it. I'm keeping it on fold, and I'll place all of my patterns on it, pin it down because it's very silky and it can shift. So this is where your dressmaking pins comes very handy. So I had to pin it down like this, and I'll go ahead and cut out. Note that every other part of the seam allowance as I cut this dress is half, aside the center back rather, which is the zipper allowance. Yes, that is this part I'm cutting right now. I used about 1/4 inches to cut the zipper area. Okay, then the side as well will be 1/4 too. So where I'm cutting now is the lower part. Just go ahead and cut all of this, and then we continue. So right here is the front pattern. Ensure to put your notches. Notches help you to, know how to stitch your pattern pieces together without mixing any parts or taking more than necessary seam allowance at any part. Okay, so that is why notches are very, very important. So here I have applied interfacing on these pattern pieces, and the interfacing I have here is the hairstay. That is what I used for the back. I applied hairstay completely, and of course, you cut the lining for each of those parts, exactly the shape of each of the parts for the lining. So what I have here is the front pattern. You can see I applied hairstay as well, on every part of it. If you want to make yours a corset, this is the time to decide on that and the kind of interfacing you'll be using. For corsets, you have an interfacing that's a bit thick. Though this is a dress, you make it to stop around the tummy. You won't let it go down. So here I have the bust, and you can see that I applied wadding after the hairstay. I applied wadding, and the wadding did not get to the neckline, just as you can see here, so that it will not affect the relaxation of the neckline after making. So this is what I have, and you can see where the wadding ended. The wadding on this fabric is light wadding. I use thick for the lining. Okay, the fabric is light wadding, this lining is thick wadding. So that is what I did, and that is after applying the hairstay. So this is the lower part of the dress. Okay, and these, you can see, these are the linings, and I also interfaced it because I wanted to have this structure and heaviness. But if you don't want, you can skip putting interfacing on your lining. So you can see what I have right here is the back, and everything is ready. So I have to mention again how you put your wadding after the hairstay. You can see that it did not get to the neckline. Note that is a sewing tip that if you make that mistake, it can ruin the beauty of your dress. That is why I have to mention it again here. So right here I have the lining, and you can see what it looks like. I have also applied interfacing just as I said earlier. This is to make add volume to the dress. If you don't want, skip it. Now the next is to go ahead and cut the yoke. We've already drafted the pattern and closed up the that the way we should. The next is just to go ahead and cut it out on the net fabric. Okay, I ensured that this net stretches horizontally, okay, not lengthwise, not along the length of the dress. If you understand what I mean, your stretch should be widthwise, like along the circumference of your dress, if that makes sense. That way it will not affect your clothes and it will not be hard to manage. So this is original net and it's so sturdy, it's so nice, like it stretches only one way and it has strength. It's really quality and it's fine. So that is what I'm using right here. I'll go ahead and cut double of each of it. So after cutting double of each of it, this is what I have. And of course you can see the seam allowance is 1/2 inch all through. Okay, after stitching, I'll even trim off quarter from the half to leave just 1/4 inch. You see that in the sewing tutorial, which will be coming next. And this is the outcome of the dress. It's so gorgeous. If you want yours to be fuller, you can use like 4 yards of fabric to make this. I used just 3 yards and it wasn't enough to give me this fullness. Or you can use a damask fabric just as the original picture is. If you want your chest to show up a bit, you may not need the applique to cover up your chest just as I did. Okay, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you for always stopping by. I love you all, and of course I will see you in my next one. Bye for now. Bye.